Hello and welcome to Lesson 5, Solving Coin and Age Word Problems. Before we start our lesson, let's review, review again, the 4 steps that you need to solve the word problems. Read the problem. Make sure you understand what you are needing or what is needed to be solved. Does it have all the necessary information to solve? Number 2, you're going to make a plan to solve the problem. Number 3, execute your plan, solve the problem. Number 4, check your work. Is it correct? If not, go back to step 1. Now that we have reviewed the 4 steps, let's move on to solving. First, we're going to solve a coin problem. So let's read the problem. You just broke open your piggy bank and found the following coins. You have 6 nickels, 4 dimes, 2 quarters, and 10 pennies. How much money do you have? So, what is the problem asking? Well, the problem wants you to determine how much money you have in your piggy bank. Is all the information given that you need to solve? Yes. Now that we know what we need to solve and we have all the information, let's move on to step 2 so we can actually create our plan and the formula. So, we're going to make a plan to figure out how much money we have after we broke up our poor little piggy bank. So the first step is to figure out how much of each coin we have, and then second, add that together to determine how much we have in total. Is there a formula that we can use? Yeah, there is. So you take the number of nickels and you multiply that times the value of a nickel, which is 0.05 cents. Number of dimes times 0.10. The number of quarters times 0.25. And the number of pennies times 0.01. Once you have all those, the second formula will just be to add up the total nickels, dimes, quarters, pennies, and that's going to give you the total amount of money in your piggy bank. Now we have our plan, we have our formula, so now we can solve it. Let's move on to step 3 and execute our plan. Use the plan and the formula that we created to solve the problem. Let's plug in all the necessary information from our problem into our formula. So we have 6 nickels. 6 times 0.05. We have 4 dimes. 4 times 0.10. We have 2 quarters. 2 times 0.25. And we have 10 pennies. 10 times 0.01. Now we'll solve all those. 6 nickels is 30 cents. 4 dimes equals 40 cents. 2 quarters equals 50 cents. 10 pennies equals 10 cents. Now that we know how much each of our coins add up to, let's figure out how much money we have in all. So the second formula would be just to add all of those together. So 0.30 plus 0.40 plus 0.50 plus 0.10, you're going to get $1.30. So the total money in your piggy bank is $1.30. Now that we have our answer, let's move on to step 4, and we're going to check our work. If you added to get your answer, then we would subtract to check our answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the total amount of money and we're going to slowly subtract away all the individual amounts, and our answer at the very end should be 0. So our total was $1.30. Let's subtract our 10 pennies. That gives us $1.20. Out of the $1.20, let's subtract our 2 quarters, which is 50 cents. That leaves us with 70 cents. 70 cents minus the 40 cents, which is the 4 dimes, equals 30 cents. 30 cents minus the 6 nickels, which is 30 cents, equals 0. So yes, our work checks out. So our answer is $1.30. That's how much was in your total piggy bank. Now let's work through an age problem. An age problem usually is going to make you determine an age, whether it be in the past or the present or in the future. So let's work through one together. First, we're going to read and understand the problem. The problem is, my mother is 3 times as old as me. I am 15 years old. How old is my mother? So what are they wanting us to solve for? They want to figure out how old my mother is. Is all the information that we need to solve the problem given? Yes. So now that we know what we are solving for, let's move on to step 2 and create our plan. So let's make a plan to solve this problem. What will the formula be to solve this problem? What operation will we use to solve the problem? Well, we know that my mom is 3 times as old as I am, and I am 15 years old. So what are we going to do to determine how old my mother is? We are going to multiply to solve the problem. The formula to solve it will be this. My age times 3 will equal my mother's age. Now we have our plan and our formula. Let's move on to step 3 and actually execute our plan. So let's take our formula from step 2 and plug in the necessary information. So my age is 15, and we know that she's 3 times as old as me, so it's going to be 15 times 3. So what is my mother's age? 15 times 3 is 45. So my mother's age is 45 years old. Make sure when you write your answer, you write it in the correct format. If you just wrote 45, then your answer would not be correct because they want to know how old your mother is, which is 45 years old. So now that we have our answer, let's move on to step 4 to check it. So if we multiplied to get the answer, how are we going to check our work? We are going to divide to check our work. To do that, we would take my mother's age, divide that by 3, and it should give you my age. So 45 divided by 3 is 15. So is your answer correct? Yes, your answer is correct. Please move on and complete your independent worksheet.